This is FBG Jenn.
And FBG Kristen.
And I'm FBG Margo, host and producer. You're listening to the podcast that will help you keep a lid on the junk in the trunk and inspire you to live a happy and confident life.
Each episode, we chat with motivational experts and celebs and share our own candid adventures in being healthy.
If you're looking for a podcast that's equal parts hilarious and enlightening, well then welcome to the Fit Bottomed Girls podcast.
Welcome back to the Fit Bottomed Girls podcast. This is FBG Margo, and on the line today we have Jenn.
What up?
And we have Kristen.
Hola.
And Kristen and I talked to another Kristen today, so I hope it doesn't get confusing for you guys. We talked to Kristen Hetzel, and you want to talk about somebody who's busy. She does duathlons. She's a professional athlete, does duathlons. She's a physical therapist, and she's an actress. And she manages to do all these things. She works out twice a day when she's in training. And Kristen and I were just completely impressed with this woman because she seems to get so much done in, with such a busy schedule. And I don't know. What did you think about her, Kristen?
Oh, super impressive. I had to kind of keep my cool because I'm like, I don't even understand how you create that many hours in a day, because that does not seem to be how my life works. So I thought it was really cool, and I liked that she was, there seemed to be a certain intuitiveness about it. Like she talks about how she understands when one thing needs to take priority over another, and she just shifts when that is the case, which I think is really probably what you have to do. But it's really nice to hear that someone who does have so much going on at such a high level, really can remain mindful about what it is that really needs her attention at any given time.
And she gets 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. So
wow.
I was like, I know.
Yeah.
So I was doing the math. Like, does she go to bed at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock? And does she get up at maybe part 2? We'll do an interview with her and really like break down her day. But you guys will love this interview. She's so sweet. She's from West Virginia. Just a spoiler: she's the first person to mention a country song as the last song she heard before she did the interview, which was like a cool little new twist on things. So I guess I wanted to ask you guys, how do you? So the three of us are very busy. We have multiple hyphenates, I guess, who we are in our daily lives. And how do you guys find time to do all the things that you like to do? How do you prioritize? So, Jenn, do you want to go first?
Sure. And I am so excited to hear both Kristen's take on this, but particularly Kristen Hetzel in this interview, because I would be, especially and get that much sleep. Anyway, but because I could probably learn a few things from her if she's got some tips, some hacks there. What's funny is that I, by nature, am a planner. I am someone who, oh my God, like back to school time for me when I was a kid, and you would like get your new schedule, whether it was like in high school or college or when I was in graduate school, I would get so excited. Like, here are my classes, here are the times. And then I would like organize my life. Like, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym this time. And then I'm going to go to class and I'm going to study here and I'm going to hang out with friends here. And oh my gosh, like every single semester I was so into doing that. And I still kind of operate like that in some ways. I like to, but I have found, especially since having my daughter, that that's just not really a reality. Like having a set schedule, it's not, well, I guess it's, okay. So sometimes you can have a set schedule and it can kind of work, but I would find that I would have a lot of stress if I wasn't able to maintain my set schedule. So when I had my daughter and things needed to be a little bit more kind of like in flow and evolving, I would feel really bad when I couldn't follow my schedule. So it was actually causing me stress. And I was like, well, this is the opposite of what I'm trying to go here. I'm trying to, set things up so that I do everything that I want to do, I accomplish the things that I want to accomplish, and I feel really good about it. If I'm not feeling good about it, I have to change things. So this has kind of been a process for me for the last 6 months or so. I've really kind of like loosened up on my entire life. So I definitely try to have like set work hours, and I also have found that going to the gym first thing in the morning, my husband and I switch days, is the best thing. And we try to, like, he normally gets, it keeps changing. He normally gets like Wednesdays and Fridays, and I get Tuesdays and Thursdays and Mondays, and then we try to like split the weekend or do something together on the weekend. But even that changes all the time. So I've really taken the approach that instead of trying to follow like something that's really strict, is I look at basically every every couple days as it's happening and be like, okay, when can I get my workout in? When can I do this? What are the two main priorities that I really want to do? And usually it's like a couple work projects, and it is that workout and like making dinner or having social time. So, and then I plan from there. It is like so much ebb and flow, and then someone gets sick or there's days off from school or something, and then I have to completely change it again. But I feel like it's been a really good life lesson to me, honestly, to just be actually more mindful and be more in flow and realize that if everything doesn't go according to plan, it's actually fine. And you can actually make a lot of room to do maybe things that weren't scheduled that you didn't know you needed to do, like fill up your pool in the backyard and play in the water for an hour, you know? And that's some of my overall life lessons from being a parent. But there is so much, though, of balance that I think is difficult. I feel like on one day I can be, you know, like a super awesome, I can run my company really, really well, or be like really on point and really be a writer. And then the next day I might not be as much in that role, and I may be like a really awesome mom. And I might have a clean house, or I might not have a clean house, but everything is not going to be 100% all the time. So it just kind of ebbs and flows and shifts. And then you just kind of have to be cool with being imperfect, which is kind of fun. I think I told Kristen yesterday, I was like, it's awesome not being perfect. Because when you mess up at something, you're just like, that's cool. Carry on, fix it, carry on. What about you, Kristen?
Well, I think somewhat similar. Also, I just want to say that like you're another one who, there are times when I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how you have gotten all the things done within a day that you get done. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So first and foremost, I am a big sleeper. That's a really big priority for me. So I will, if I've got something planned for a morning, but I find that I'm not going to be able to go to bed at a reasonable hour the night before, I will move stuff. Like I can get away with maybe a day, possibly two, of suboptimal sleep. Beyond that, though, like I'm going to be scheduling out 9, maybe even 10 hours to try to catch up. And I don't know if the sleeping reserve is a myth or not, but sleep is a really big priority for me. I will go to bed at 9:30 if I'm feeling tired and I know that I need to catch up on sleep. And that's what allows me to, most of the time, be able to get up and go to the gym really early or do that stuff if I want to. But kind of as a general rule, I will look at my schedule and I put into my calendar. I think we've talked about how much I love the Google Calendar in the past here. But if there's something that involves other people, I get that scheduled in there and I look at that as a non-negotiable. And then I will move things around based on that. So like if I've got a call with you guys, then that is in there and that is solid, and I'm not changing it unless, as we discovered yesterday, we had a surprise tropical storm and I was like, hi, can we move it to another day because I'm not sure I'll have power at that time of day today. So thank you guys for being flexible, speaking of making time.
Sure.
Yeah, but then the other things, you know, if that's socializing or workouts, then I sort of look at time outside of my typical day, which I look at my work day as pretty much being 8 or 9 until about 5 most days. Even though I work from home and can make my own schedule, I find it easier in my head to have fairly set office hours. Otherwise, I can either fall into the realm of working all the frickin' time or being like, I'll get it done on Saturday, which I won't because I don't work on weekends. And I just, like, I can't even turn my brain on to do a great job of working on the weekends. But yeah, other than that, like I look at my workload and figure out what things are priorities, what things really have to get done. And then I think about what I feel like doing that day. So of the things that are priorities and need to be done in the next few days, do I feel creative and like I want to write a post from scratch? Do I feel like I want to get out my red pen and be an editor? Do I feel like I want to do more like back-end stuff? And that, if you kind of tune in, at least for me, that's a pretty easy answer most of the time. Like those are different hats and they feel really different. And those are, you know, I usually feel up to doing one of those. And then I just sort of move around. And sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, well, I really don't feel creative, but I seriously have to write this stuff. And so then I do. And, you know, you can make it happen if you have to. but it's nice to acknowledge when you have the choice. And then my work.
And usually it's so much easier. Like, you do something so much faster if you want to do it versus if you are dreading doing it. I feel like that's kind of the secret to doing a lot of stuff is liking all the stuff you're doing and having, well, you have to set yourself to have the energy to do it. So that means working out, but not working out too hard, getting enough sleep, but not too much sleep or, too little sleep. If you can optimize your energy levels and keep your kind of motivation high, you can do a lot in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really can. And then, the other thing is I try, for the most part, to work ahead enough so that when I have a day where I maybe just need like a mental health day, or I have an afternoon where I've had, on Friday, I had a couple of meetings. I think mostly, was all of it with you, Jen?
I think it was. I think you and I were together.
Yeah. And I had not an awesome night the night before, and we finished at like 3:00. And I said, you know what? I don't have anything to do. I need to just call it a day because I couldn't even put words together. So I guess for me, like, scheduling means leaving enough time when possible to be able to do the things that you want or need to do at the time when you need to do them. So I don't know. I think that I just gave a lot of really vague answers, and I am sorry.
It was good. I think the other thing actually that I do too when I'm really working is, and I've improved, I've gotten better at doing this, is taking more regular breaks, because I used to be like, oh, I have 6 hours of childcare. I'm going to work for like all 6 hours and do as much as I can. And then I would be like obliterated, for the rest of the night. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not ideal. I mean, I got a lot done, but I found that if I, go ahead every 90 minutes or so and take 10 minutes to do something else and give my brain a break, recharge, come back in, and then I can keep my focus up at a high level, and I'm not like slugging through work. And it feels good. I mean, because what we do is awesome. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Margo, what about you? Because you're like teaching and you've got clients and you run.
Yeah, you have to go places and do things with other people a lot.
I do. So I teach fitness. I have my own little consulting business during the day, my day job. I have you guys, and then I have podcasts that I'm also working on. So yeah, I'm a pretty busy lady. So I mean, I live by my Google Calendar. I also have a paper calendar. I have an old-fashioned wall calendar. I write on that. Everything that's on there, I write on that, like when my mom's coming to visit and all, like what everybody else does. But there's times, like especially for me, if I'm teaching at 7 a.m., I'm in bed by 9:30, and I try to be asleep by 10 p.m. because I want my 8 hours of sleep. That's not negotiable. And it's the same thing. Like I'll move things around. But also I've just learned over time, when am I good at doing things? I'm better at writing middle of the day than the end of the day. I'm way better at editing for some reason at the end of the day versus the beginning of the day. I'm much better at pulling together a playlist on like Friday afternoons versus, in the middle of the morning or something like that. I'm just in a more relaxed mood. I'm in weekend mode. I teach on the weekends. So I've just learned like when I'm good at doing things, but when I get overwhelmed, my rule, and this is my friend's rule, and I'm taking it from her, my friend Laura, I look at everything I'm supposed to do. I'm like, which are the things that pay me? And which is the thing that pays me the most? And then, like, that's the priority. Make sure that's taken care of. Okay, is that taken care of? Go to the second one. Go to the third one. Like, go to that. Because I have also so many hobbies. I don't have kids, so I have hobbies. And sometimes they can take up some brain space for me. And it's like, okay, it's great to have hobbies. But, you also have to pay your rent, Margo. So that's what I have to do. So it's, for me, a big thing is knowing when I'm good at things and when I'm not good at things. And then respecting that. And then taking weekends off. Because I used to put shit on the weekends. And it's like, I work from home, so I could take a Tuesday off and go to the movies and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but, I don't want to spend Saturday afternoon on a beautiful day writing press releases or whatever, So you have to be a little, what's the word? Strict, with yourself when you work for yourself and you work from home, because it can get a little loosey-goosey. But I try to keep rules. I don't have the TV on during the day at all. I limit social media. I do different things. And I'm like you. I will fold laundry or I'll load the dishwasher when I need to take a break. But like everybody else, I work from home, but people think, oh, it's so easy. You could just take off whenever you want. I'm like, no, not really. You still have to get the job done. And so that's what I'm always working on, that balance of getting everything done. And then having time to just relax and unwind, because you need that, guys. You need times when you're not doing anything, but just kind of enjoying yourself. Your brain needs it.
I've also found that if you approach different things mentally or approach things mentally in a different way, it can help you to feel more refreshed by everyday activities. Because I used to kind of fall in this mindset. I think this is actually a little bit of how I was raised, was that you relaxed at the end of the day. Like, you worked, you got up, you did your stuff, you worked, you fit everything in, and then it wasn't until like you pretty much sat down in front of the television, ate dinner, and that was like your chill time. Well, when I had Gwen, then I was like, okay, so I would basically spend my whole day trying to get everything that I need to get done, everything I think that I need to get done, which is not actually reality, but that was my perceived reality. I spend the entire day trying to get everything done, and then, she doesn't go to bed until like 7:45, 8 o'clock. So by the time I come back from there and then pick up toys, and my husband and I pick up from dinner, or, whatever, I mean, I go to bed at 9:30 most nights. I have an hour. That means I have an hour, like, of the entire day. Like that's not sustainable.
No.
So, but if I could, instead of like, and I think this is the kind of the mental trap that a lot of women get into, is just like replaying the to-do list in your head. But once I started to be more aware of like, okay, why am I spending up so much mental energy thinking about what I have to do in the future? If I just kind of let that go and just am present in the moment. So whether I'm in the car driving, I'm listening to music I want to, or I'm folding laundry, like I get to control what I'm thinking. If I can make that more relaxive, and I'm playing with Gwen, and I'm not trying to, do the dishes while I'm playing with her, I just play with her. And then I'm like, okay, that's fun. Like, going to the grocery store can be fun. So it's just kind of how you mentally approach it.
I love the grocery store.
I love the grocery store too.
I love it. My God.
I mean, with the toddler, it's a little different.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But a solo trip to the grocery store is like a spa day, guys.
Well, why don't we just get into today's interview with Kristen? I think you guys are going to really like her. She's a great interview. She was so much fun to talk to. So let's just go into this interview with Kristen Hetzel. Welcome back to the Fit Bottom Girls podcast. Today, our special guest is Kristen Hetzel, and she is the number 7 ranked duathlete and a current member of Team USA. As one of the world's top duathletes, Kristen competes in duathlons, which consist of a running leg followed by a cycling leg and finishing with another running leg. Kristen has been a part of Team USA since 2013 and has been All-American in the duathlon for the last 3 years. She recently requalified as a member of Team USA for 2018. Kristen's career in competitive athletics began in high school with cross country and track and continued at the collegiate level after being awarded an athletic scholarship to Wheeling Jesuit University, where she studied biochemistry. In 2006, Kristen added cycling to her athletic repertoire, and within 3 years was offered a professional cycling contract with the Tri-Sport Cycling Clips racing team. Kristen resides in Los Angeles, where she is studying acting and has appeared in numerous films. She is on our show today to talk about her fitness career, plus her best health and wellness advice. Welcome to the show, Kristen Hetzel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you, Kristen. This is Margo, and on the line today we have Kristen.
Hey guys, 2 Kristens for the price of 1 today.
Two. So, Kristen, I'm going to ask you the first question. So I mentioned in your introduction that you are a duathlete, which means you compete in run, bike, and run events. So can you tell us how you got into this competitive event? Because that seems very daunting to a wimp like me. How did you get involved in this?
As you kind of mentioned in my bio, I was a runner in college. I ran for my university. And so my background was running. That was always my first love. And then after college, I got into the cycling portion of it and fell in love with cycling. And so raced professionally for about 3 years doing that. And then it would have been 2012, somebody mentioned this event where you do both. And they're like, you run and you bike. You might like this. And so I actually did my first event, happened to be the national championships, and I just fell in love with it. So, yeah, ever since then, that's my main sport now.
Wow, go big or go home, I guess, right?
That's right. Really? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to commend you on that. That's serious. That's amazing.
Yeah. it's been really wonderful. It's kind of a funny story that when I did my first duathlon, I hadn't been running for a while, and my sponsor at the time had said, hey, the duathlon national championships are in our town. You should do that. You used to run and you bike now. And I was like, well, I haven't been running, though, and this race is in 4 weeks. And she's like, that's okay. We'll sponsor you for it. Go ahead and try it. And so it was really exciting because that was actually the first year I qualified for the U.S. team. That was the qualifying event. So I not only found a new sport that I loved, but got on my first U.S. team through that. So that was really exciting.
Wow, no wonder you love it. That's a great introduction to it.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, so and I do triathlon, but the part that I like the best is the swim, so I'm probably not ever going to go into the duathlon realm. But can you tell us what the bike run distances are?
Sure. The event that I do is a 10K run, so 6.2 mile run, and then 40K bike, 25 miles, and then a 5K run, so 2.1 miles.
Awesome. And I think I read on your website that a typical race lasts between 2 and 3 hours, that's a long time, not only to train your body, but also to just keep yourself focused mentally. So I'd love to know, do you have some good mental tricks that you use to stay sharp on race day or even when you've got a long training day?
Yeah, I think that I've really spent a lot of time training that aspect because I think that as an athlete, the physical training is very important, and we do that all, that's the primary thing it consists of, but the mental training and getting in a place where you're just focused and you're concentrated. And so for me in a race, it's very much that. I'm focused. I know what I want to do. I know the paces I want to hit. And just sort of managing, it kind of sounds funny, but managing the pain. If you do triathlon, you know what I mean, that It's not, you're having an injury kind of pain, but it's physically uncomfortable. You're breathing hard. You have lactic acid everywhere.
Yep.
You're getting tired. And so just having that fortitude and that mental strength to push through that when your body is saying, okay, we can slow down now, and you're like, no, we're going to follow to the end. So, yeah.
So you studied biochemistry at Wheeling Jesuit University. You are also a West Virginia gal, yes?
Yes, that's right. Not nears.
So do you find that knowledge base is useful in your training, the biochemistry that you learn?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My background for undergrad was biochemistry, and then I'm also a physical therapist. I got my doctorate in physical therapy. So it's a tremendous thing to be able to blend the two, and having that knowledge helps me so much because I really understand the human body. I understand how it works, how it recovers, how to maximize potential. And then it's really wonderful, too, because I know what to do to prevent injuries with myself. So if something's getting tight or, if something is feeling a little bit tweaky after a workout, I know exactly what to do to get rid of it so that it doesn't become an injury.
Oh, so do you have any advice for those of us who maybe fall injured a little bit more often than we'd like? I guess maybe what your warm-up or what some of your favorite post-workout stretches are to help prevent injury?
Sure, yeah. I'm a big proponent of stretching. I stretch. I actually like to stretch before a workout and after. I know there's a lot of back and forth. Should you stretch before or after? And I think that it's individual for each person, how their bodies are. But definitely stretching the quadriceps is a really important one. And there's different ways. You can do the traditional just standing and kind of pulling your knee back behind you, or lying on your stomach and pulling, having a band and pulling your knee up. But the quadriceps, having those flexible is so important to prevent knee pain. So that's a big one. And then hamstrings and calf stretching. And then I would say if I was going to pick maybe the four most important, I would say quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and your glutes, your butt muscles. So doing like one of those, having like the little sitting, I don't know, where you kind of sit with your leg crossed and stretch your glute that way, or there's different ways.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, the seated stretch.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, so I would say the stretching is a really important piece of staying injury-free. And then another thing I'm a really big fan of with athletes or even people just recreationally doing exercise who are, just regularly doing it is getting a massage even once or twice a month. It can be so helpful because, you get a massage and then you find out, oh, that's really tight. I didn't know that was so tight. Or I have a really big knot in my hamstring that I didn't even know was there. And it's just working those things out before they become an injury. Because at some point, if you keep going with a big knot or a really tight muscle, then it will become symptomatic and give you trouble. So I'm a big fan of massage, too.
So when you're in training, tell us what an average day looks like for you when you're deep in training, when you're getting ready for something big.
Right. So I train twice a day, every day. I have a professional coach. She's amazing. And I actually do, with my training, I do swimming, running, and biking because as part of my season, I will do some triathlons just as training to get ready. Because there's a lot more triathlons here in California than duathlons. So, but a typical day would be like run, bike day would be one day. Maybe I bike maybe 3 or 4 hours, which would be about maybe like 50 to 70 miles. And within that, there might be some intensity, like my coach might have me do some hill intervals within that ride, or something like that. And then afterwards, maybe right after, have like a 4 to 6 mile run. That might be one day. And then the next day might be a swim run day where I do an hour and a half in the pool with intervals, really hard workout there, and then run after. So each day is a bit different, but every day is pretty much 2 workouts a day.
Now, as a professional, okay, so you do a lot of things. I'm just over here being very impressed because you're obviously a professional athlete, you are a physical therapist, and you're an actress. And I mean, how does that work? Do you train and compete literally year round and you're always doing that, and then you fit other things in around that? Do you fit your training in around your PT job and then take on acting roles like when it seems like you've got some free time? I'm dying to know how all of this fits in, and then you also sleep.
Right. That's a really good question. Because I am doing it is kind of like I have 3 different careers with physical therapy, my athletics, and then the acting. So the answer is my training is my primary thing. So I pretty much train and race. I race about 9 months out of the year, and then I get a couple months of off-season training where I'm still training 1 or 2 times a day, but I'm not out-of-town racing, and the training is a little bit more of endurance-based. It's not as intense. So I really don't get much. I get a couple weeks off a year from training, and that's really about it. So the answer is my training is my main thing, and then I fit everything else in around it. I'm really grateful. I work on call at a nearby rehab hospital, so it's a really flexible thing where they can call me and say, hey, do you have 4 hours today, or can you do a few evaluations, and then I sort of just fit that in. And then I also have some private clients that I see for personal training, and then some are also for physical therapy. And so I can kind of just make my schedule around my training for that. And then with the acting, pretty much auditions or meetings with agent, manager, different things like that I just kind of fit in around training as well. Like an analogy that somebody said one time that I liked is it's kind of like driving a stick shift. Like I don't know if I'll do this analogy correct because I personally don't drive a stick shift.
Nor do I. Sorry.
Okay, so work with me here. We'll try and see if this comes out and makes sense. But it's kind of like, you know, there's certain times of the year, like right now I have the World Championships coming up, and I just had the National Championships, where it's really like gas on the athletics and my acting. I've sort of let off the clutch. And then there's other times where maybe in my off season where I have a little more flexibility to book things or be available for, you know, long shoot days. And then it's kind of a bit more like gas on that and kind of letting off a little bit on the athletics. What do you think? Did we do good with the analogy?
I think so. I have one of those, I never learned to drive a stick shift, and it's one of those things that makes me nuts as an adult. I wish I had done that because it looks like it's fun to do, if nothing else.
Well, I did learn. I'm still terrible at it, but yes, that totally works. Like, you do have to kind of have that balance. Like, if you hit too hard, so if you pop the clutch, then you just stall, which means you're not going anywhere. And if you really, really gun the gas without letting off on the clutch, then I'm not sure what happens, but I think it's pretty bad. So yeah, I mean, you really do have to balance those two things. As you push down on one, you've got to let up on the other.
Right. I think it took me a while to get into a good balance with all three, because certainly in the beginning when I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get all of my training in, be rested, sleep enough, like you said, because I do sleep 9 to 10 hours a night, believe it or not, with all the things I'm doing, and make all of this work. And I really am so grateful that I've gotten to a place where I feel like they're very well balanced. I never feel overwhelmed. I just feel really grounded and like just, sort of peaceful, I guess, about the three things I'm doing and finding the joy in them.
So in addition to running and cycling, do you incorporate any kind of cross-training into your workouts?
A little bit. In the off-season, my coach will have me do more cross-training, like maybe cross-country skiing, some intense uphill endurance hiking, things like that. But once I'm in season, it's very sport-specific. My coach, she doesn't want me, I don't want to say wasting energy on other things, but it's very much like if this is how much my legs can do in a day, that she wants it to be running, cycling, or swimming. So I still do gym workouts. She'll have me go to the gym, and I do some leg lifting. I keep my core and my upper body strong. So that's an important piece. And then I do some yoga. I try to do that once a week too.
Awesome. Now, we talked a little bit about the mental aspect of training and racing for something like this earlier, but I understand that you're big on meditation too. So I'd love to know if you have any resources or that you like to go to, or tips for athletes who are interested in incorporating meditation into their training or into race day, which personally I'm a huge fan of having a mantra that'll keep you going. So what are your thoughts on that?
Right. I think that for each person it's a little bit different with what you jive with. For me, I guess maybe a better way of saying that is for each person what meditation means could be something different. I mean, to some it's, sitting on a rock with their legs crossed and doing the whole, you're kind of posing and stuff like that. And I do it it's more of like a visualization. It's just spending that quiet time of just getting really grounded and centered and focusing on what I want as far as my goals and dreams. And then being really specific in the visualization. Say if I have a race the next day or, coming up, it's like picturing myself on the course, like being really fluid and strong and feeling good and everything's just sort of moving along perfectly. And kind of like I talked about earlier, it sounds funny, but like managing the pain or that physical discomfort that most definitely will be there, but being able to sort of mentally prepare for that, then when you get in the race and you are in that state of oxygen dead and everything's burning and hurting, it's like, okay, I've already done this in my visualization, I'm good. Like let's go, we can do this. So I think it's for me, that's the most effective way. And then I don't know if you have ever heard of Abraham Hicks, but I'm a big fan of her material.
Yeah.
She does a lot of just guided, even, just like YouTube videos and things like that. I think that her material is just really great to get in a good feeling, good vibing place. Sort of that law of attraction mindset, just attracting what you want to happen in your life.
So who are your athletic heroes? Who do you look up to? Who do you want to emulate?
That's a really good question. Who do I want to emulate? I don't know if, I will say this. The people that I look up to and have the absolute utmost respect for in the athletic world are the para-Olympic and para-athletes, meaning like those athletes that have disabilities. As part of Team USA, there's also the para-athletes who race. And I, every time, am blown away and inspired and so motivated by these people. Just that it's a thing where, here we are as able-bodied athletes. Yes, we're working hard and we're training hard and we're pushing and we're not giving up and we're doing all of the things that it takes to succeed. But here's people that are doing those same things and they have maybe a missing leg or they're blind or they, and so for me, every time I'm racing with those athletes or watching those athletes, I'm so inspired by the possibilities and just the absolute potential of human beings. It's just really inspiring to see that.
Now, let's shift focus a little bit. I have got to know about your nutrition because being that busy, being that active, I know that your nutrition has got to be on point. So do you have any favorite foods or favorite recipes that you think really help to boost performance?
Yes, I do. I eat really healthy, and I eat really balanced. A lot of people ask, do you not eat meat or red meat or these types of things? And for me, a good protein meat source is really important to me. So a lot of times for dinner, I'll have just a mixture of maybe organic chicken and vegetables and pasta. Just that way I'm getting my carbs, my vegetables, and my protein. Or I do a lot of smoothies with just a variety of good, healthy stuff, with a good protein powder, with fruit. Glutamine is a really good supplement for recovery, so I do glutamine with my shakes. What else do I eat? So I eat really pretty balanced, but yeah, I would say that for me, when I feel a little bit flat, it's almost always because I'm not getting enough protein. So I really have to make sure that I'm doing that. I was just going to say, was that thorough enough, or would you like more detail on the nutrition? I want to make sure I'm answering your questions appropriately.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think the focus on protein is really important. So, yeah, I love it.
Okay, awesome.
So we have just one more question for you, okay? It's a very important question. We ask this of everybody that's on our show. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Kristen. What was the last song you listened to before you did this podcast interview?
Oh, that's a good question. And I'll tell you what it was, because I like this song. It came on and I was completely jamming in the car, and it's I'm from West Virginia, so I love country music. I mean, I like hip-hop and other things too, but gotta love country coming from West Virginia. And it was a country song, Dan and Shay, How Not To. I don't know if you've heard it or if you like country, but that was it. That was the last song I listened to.
That's a great answer. We get so much Justin Bieber.
We do get a lot of Bieber.
A lot of Bieber and a lot of Hamilton soundtrack. So it's nice to get a different answer like that. So definitely, that's a wonderful answer. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, girls. I really enjoyed it.
Love this show? Tell us why in a 5-star review on iTunes, and we'll read it on the air. Also, make sure you are a subscriber. If you want to reach out to say hi or have a question about a recent episode, yay, well, feel free to email us at podcast@fitbottomgirls.com. And if this podcast jives perfectly with your brand, consider sponsoring the show. Get more info by emailing advertising@fitbottomgirls.com. Find all kinds of Fit Bottom goodness online and on social media at Fit Bottom Girls, Fit Bottom Mamas, Fit Bottom Eats, and Fit Bottom Zen. And if books and movies are your thing, check out the other podcast I co-host called Book versus Movie, which you can find anywhere where you search for podcasts. Thanks for listening.